There
Oh,
you go.
what's up,
How you doing?
guys, man? Listen, great spaces so far. Great week. The website has been doing smooth. Finally, everything's going good. First of all, I just want to say congratulations to the team. It's not easy launching stuff. Some people don't even make it in a month, right? So it's not easy. What you guys are doing for Pulse Chain and the ecosystem, I think, is pretty cool. You're gonna get some haters here and there. People have to understand, like, we could have multiple supermarkets in the community, right? Some people are gonna want to shop in one place, and some people are gonna want to shop in another place. As long as people come and just visit the community and visit the neighborhood and stay a while and do their thing, that's all that should matter, right? But sooner or later, they're gonna be tempted to touch other things, right? And just like I said, don't change the way you are, man. Especially you, Hexy. People want you to be super serious and professional, stuff like that, but that's not who you are. Behind the scenes, you're professional. Behind the scenes, you take this to heart. This is not a joke to you. But then again, in the public eye, you want to have fun. This is who you are, and so don't change, man. People are going to pressure you to change. Do not change. You got a good team around you. You got a good community around you, and make this fun, right? Not everything has to be super serious. Yes, money's serious. The time and energy that people put is serious. Of course, when people ask for like updates and stuff like that, that's when we could be a little bit professional. Other than that, laugh off, 9 inch, joke around, everything. End of the day, man, I love it. It's fun, and keep on doing it, man. I'm rooting for you guys.
Ah, I
Man, I
appreciate that,
appreciate it.
bro. That's real nice. It's real nice. Soon enough, we won't even have to be professional because we're going to have Chat STD, who's going to handle our customer service for us. We're rolling that out soon.
Sweet, sweet, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's fun. Like, you have to understand, people get antsy, right? Price goes up on one coin, everybody wants to run over there. Price goes up and down on one coin, everybody wants to exit right away, and it's like everybody wants to catch the little pumps here and there. Instead of, like, guys, we're still under sack prices. It's only been what, almost 7 months of Pulse Chain. The bull market isn't in full effect yet. Like, chill, relax, grab all the fucking coins you want, left and right. Me personally, man, me, I'm a Richard Hart Maxi. Hex, Pulse Chain, Pulsex is always gonna be my biggest bags ever, no matter what. Of course, I'm gonna dabble with other things. Do I recommend other people do it? That's up to them. I'm not nobody's parent. Have fun, be safe. Change your generation, right? Like, help break the curse that a lot of people was born poor and all this other shit, right? Like, this is our chance. Like, we probably have 1, 2 more huge bull markets before things calm down a little bit, right? So, like, focus, stop with the drama, stop with the bullshit, get your coins, pump your fucking bags, have fun, and be safe out there. And most of all, protect your accounts. The worst thing people could do is fuck around and be stupid, waste time on nonsense, and next you fucking hack for the silliest thing. So just enjoy it, man. Enjoy the fucking ride. Like, it's incredible. 2 years ago, we had none of this shit, right? We was at mercy of Vitalik and fucking gas fees and all the bullshit, and now we have a whole fucking ecosystem. We get to play, build, and have fun and support each other. Like, it's incredible, man. Like, just the nonsense is just so silly, man.
There's a lot of drama out there at the minute. I'm trying not to entertain it too much, but I know I'm guilty of getting involved sometimes. But it depends who it's with, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't mind people calling me like names and shit. I don't mind that. If people don't like me, that's fine. But don't go spreading misinformation about what we're building here. We've built something fucking amazing, right? I know we had problems, but we built something real fucking good, which is really, really helping the ecosystem a lot. So just because you don't like me, don't knock what we're trying to do here. And especially if you don't like us on Pulse Chain, there's no reason not to like us on Ethereum. You should be rooting for us on Ethereum. Like,
Exactly.
9inch has the potential to be like the biggest onboarding tool for Pulse Chain ever, right? So don't knock us on Ethereum. If you don't like us on Pulse Chain because we're stealing a small amount of PulseX's thunder, more fool you, man. Do you realize like how much arbitrage bots, how much volume they generate compared to like you as a user? Fucking millions of times the amount, mate. So like, yeah, you just figure it out. When I get guys like the guy below 8 that wants to call me a scammer because he doesn't like me and he's threatening me that he's going to use his influence, which is barely anything, by the way, to destroy my reputation. It's like, bro, you don't even have a reputation. Like, called the bottom like 400 times and none of them were true. So shut the fuck up.
Yeah, and there's one thing you said earlier that it caught my eye, it caught my ear, and I was like, "Oh, this is a nice little update." If you guys could pull it off, is if people use Ethereum, Ethereum, and then they're about to pay a transaction, it says, "Hey, by the way, you could have said blah 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 at this moment, at this time, real time on Pulse Chain, and maybe some way somehow you have a link where they could see Pulse Chain." That's phenomenal because for you guys to open a DEX not only on Pulse Chain but on Ethereum, you didn't have to do that, right? You could have just put 100% effort just in Pulse Chain itself. For you to be on Ethereum, it gives it's like a bridge, another bridge where people could come and cross over and see what's about, and stuff like that, and touch the waters with their feet, just dab a little bit, and every time we have something like that, it helps, every time we have another tunnel leading to Pulse Chain, it helps, people need to understand that. So, congratulations, it's a smart move.
Yeah, I think if we can get that going, I mean, it should be quite easy to do. It's just a case of getting RPCs to line up in the right way and stuff. But I mean, fuck me, how amazing would that be? Like, especially like Hex for Life was saying earlier that he paid $50 to harvest some yield on the platform. Imagine if a little pop up came up and said, "Oh, this you could have saved $49.99 for like if you'd done the same transaction on Pulse Chain." Oh my god! And also, don't forget that KEP put an eggplant between her tits. Okay, so literally,
I love Katie. Katie's brilliant, man.
I fucking love her now. Definitely. I mean, I did anyway, to be fair, but like her doing that, mate, that was just the chattiest move I've ever seen. Like,
yeah,
I
man,
fucking
it's
love
just
that.
showing love, right? It's showing love for what you build, what the community built. Is another platform that people could play in and stuff like that. As long as the platform's safe, stuff like that, go for it. If you don't like it, then don't use it. Just don't spread lies. There's plenty of coins out there that I probably would never touch, but you don't see me going on Twitter and I'm gonna bash them just because I don't like them. Like, it doesn't work that way, right? Like, it's not my flavor. It's not my flavor. Like, I just walk away. Like, screaming at everybody. Oh, this a scam. That's a scam. That's a scam. You're just scaring everybody away from Pulse Chain by doing things like that, right? Now, if it's a legit scam, right? If we know for a fact it's a legit scam, yeah, and then you stand up and you scream at the top of your lungs, right? But just because you don't like a person or you don't like their marketing, or you don't like their style, to call people scams and stuff like it's just silly, man. It's just so stupid. And then just to touch on what you just said, right? I was in Hex super early, just like most people, and during that time, Ethereum just to do transaction, I remember when that shit was like 5 cents, 10 cents, right? Even less at times, and I was like, oh my god, this is the best thing ever. Right up to towards like a year and a half later, it instantly skyrocketed to almost $200, $150 a fee at times. And the bull market sometimes cost me $400, $300 to do certain transactions or unstakes and stuff like that. Like, that's ridiculous, right? So just to see that we have Pulse Chain now and everything that we wanted in Ethereum is on Pulse Chain now, plus more. How can we not celebrate? How can we not be excited for that? So, Richard knows what he's doing. The community is building just like he wanted, right? As long as we just listen, stop. Everybody just needs to stop fucking fighting over dumb shit, right? Support each other. Let's make this fucking bullshit ecosystem the best thing ever. That sooner or later, everybody has no choice to fucking talk about it. They have no choice because of all the builders and all the beautiful things that's built around. Like, that's what we need. We should focus our energy on that stuff.
100%, bro. 100%, man. We just gotta keep the positivity high and just make sure that we're, I'm not trying to tread on anyone's toes here. Like, that's why we're going after a specific niche. Like, I really like some of the other builders that are doing stuff. Like, I really like the Coast guys. I really like Buck and the Fiat guys. I like I like 9mm as well. I like a lot of stuff. Internet money. Fuck me, there's so many, like liquid loans. There's so many cool things being built here. The only remote negative I would say about any of them is just that they're not bridging that gap between Ethereum. So that's why, like, I don't know why people aren't really doing that. I think Internet Money is actually, I haven't used their wallet yet, but I'm pretty sure that they've got like the Ethereum option and everything on there as well, which is cool. They're just like native to Pulse Chain, which is awesome. But anything we can do to just bridge that gap is always going to be awesome. But you're absolutely right, man. There's no point in like shitting on people because you don't like what they're doing. If they're trying to improve shit And also, like these guys that don't like me is one thing to like not like me, but to call me a scammer because you don't like me, that's just bullshit.
Yeah, that's wrong. Yeah.
That ain't right, man. That ain't right. You're just making
I
yourself
can
look stupid.
I can tell you why people don't focus on Ethereum and only on Pulse Chain. It's very simple. You know, in marketing and to get new users, it's very expensive to reach a new crowd, whereas it's nearly free to reach a current base. So if you're launching something on Pulse Chain, all you have to do is be on the Twitter Spaces, follow everybody on Twitter, and be on the Telegram. Whereas if you're gonna reach people on Ethereum or any other chain, then you have really a lot of work to do, which usually takes time, money, dedication, all of that. So I think that's why. Actually, I'm sure that's why.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it is easier just to kind of go after the crowd that's there. I mean, you can kind of see that from our liquidity and our volume and stuff is mostly on Pulse Chain because that's where our influence is. But in time, I mean, the Ethereum side is going to be a little bit harder to break down. But if we even get 1% of that market, man, holy crap, the amount of volume that's going to come through our decks is going to be ridiculous. So yeah, I'm all about that action, man. I think in time we're going to break it down. We just got to approach it in a different way, and that's why if you look at the pin message, that lowest of stakes trailer, I mean, anyone who doesn't like Richard Hart is going to like this film that we're bringing out because we're basically taking the piss out of him. We're doing it in a grandiose way, though, right? We're not being horrible. We're just taking the piss. So when people clip bits out of that film and post it around, they're going to think that we're actually taking the piss out of Richard, but we're not. We're promoting him. So people are going to hear about him more via that. And I think this is a clever way to get in, being in with guys like DBI and then attracting these new communities in various different ways. Like we've got a lot of plans for like how we're going to attack these crowds. One of the ways that that's going to happen as well is just by building my brand up as much as possible. If I can get my brand big, then a lot of people are just going to come to 9inch, and then inevitably they're going to come to Pulse Chain because I'm always going to be singing and screaming about why Pulse Chain's better than Ethereum, but just purely based on the fact that the fees are way cheaper. Why would you pay $50 for a transaction that can cost you 2 pennies on Pulse Chain? Like the same fucking thing. And actually on our platform, the prices are higher on Pulse Chain anyway. So you could actually make more money over there and pay less for it. So it's going to be quite an easy onboarding tool, like the way I'm doing it. All those guys that don't like me now, they're not going to hate. They're not going to dislike me if I onboard like a few 100,000 people to Pulse Chain, are they? You know, like, I mean, that's a tall order, right? But like, I'm sure they'd be okay with me then. But I'm sure there'd still be some people out there chatting shit. But that'll just be the jealous little neckbeard basement dwelling, still live with their parents at 55 years old guys, you know. Tweet something the other day about us being a failure and PulseX is way better, and I was just like, but it's not. Like, it's if you come at us with facts, man, like don't just say shit because it sounds right. Like check, you know.
Yeah,
we're doing very well.
Let's go into that a little bit because obviously when all the shit goes wrong, all you can see is the bad stuff. But even though we were like, I would say at an extreme FUD level and the text didn't work, the front and down and all of this, but the numbers are still fairly good, especially if you take in consideration like how much shit that went wrong and how much FUD we got. I don't have the numbers right now, but like if you just compare, let's say PulseX, obviously that's always comparable with us. Just take the numbers, how much liquidity we have, how much they have, how much volume, and then obviously PulseX is maybe 10x more here or 15x more there. But then if you compare the market cap and sort of the price and all of that, there's a huge discrepancy. There's much more, how can I say, field to cover in our case, like upside potential, if you take in consideration how good our numbers still are. There's even some liquidity pools that are much thicker in 9inch than on PulseX. I think, for instance, the PulseX DAI pair, the PulseX USDC, like there are some stable pairs that's much better at ours, even in this crazy period. So and volume is still good, and yeah, I think it's gonna really start heating up when the price starts recovering from these, I think, very depressed levels.
Yeah, I don't think we could possibly get to like a worse FUD level than what we were at a few days ago, which is to be honest, I'm glad we got it out of the way early. I'd rather deal with that now while we're still small and then come back fighting, you know, instead of like, you know, if we built this up to like a few $100 million TVL on each side or whatever, and then had to deal with it, it'd be a big fucking problem. So actually, I commend the guys that held through the FUD and didn't panic sell the 9-inch or the BBC or whatever they had, or even the PP or the WETH. I mean, there were a lot of guys that did, don't get me wrong, but if that's all it takes for those, well, I say if that's all it takes, obviously it was pretty bad what happened, right, with the front end going down. I get that. I mean, I'd have been scared too. If I put in a substantial amount of money, I would have been pretty scared. But we're still here. We're still hanging out. We're still talking, and we're trying to remedy the problems. I think actually it's a good sign for us and our team that we do fix problems so quickly. We're there and we're dealing with it, and you've got people you can communicate with. I mean, we've got like 20 volunteer admins in the chat as well, who are just like helping out and constantly there. Even if I'm sleeping or Kino's sleeping or you're sleeping or whatever, like they're still there and they're still helping out. And we're trying to keep everyone in the loop as much as possible. We're not hiding anything. We're just trying to deal with stuff as best we can. But we're getting there. We're getting there slowly. And
another good point from I think it was Papa Boner in that interview. He said that the fact that we got this FUD and the DDoS attacks and everything is kind of like a stamp of what do you call it? Like a stamp of relevance or whatever. That people spend their time,
like approvers,
money into doing all this stuff. Because the DDoS is not the easiest or cheapest thing to do, especially for like 3 or 4 days. And if you look at the FUD aspect of it, like people were talking about us on Twitter, on Telegram, on YouTube. And so like even if all that was discussed was basically FUD and like lengthy, angry people talking about us, at least they were talking about us, because we are worthy to talk about. It means that we are a very relevant project that people care a lot about. If you love us or hate us, doesn't matter. But if like we are sort of the talk of the town, it's an important product, and that's much better than being irrelevant, because attention economy, right? So when the attention turns from negative to positive, then
Yeah, that's right.
Like we think we might know who it was, but there's no proof. The thing is, we're not going to fight fire with fire. Like, we don't care. Like, the fact that, like K9 said there, if people are coming at us, then cool. That just means that we're a threat, right? That means we're doing something right.
Yes, sir.
People are going to continue to come at us, because it's not just that. It's like we mentioned earlier about some of the PulseX maxis coming after us, and it's like they're just a bit scared, man. Like, the thing is, we're not competing directly with PulseX. We're trying to make PulseChain better. Do we not all want PulseChain to be better? And if we're successful on the Ethereum side, PulseChain is our native. When you land on 9-inch, it takes you straight to the PulseChain side, and then people have to connect their wallet, and it's just one of them, man. Like, we are gonna bring eyes to PulseChain, but like we're going after such a niche little crowd here as well that, like, I don't know why people care that much. If you're running a DEX which appeals to the masses, why do you care what the meme coin DEX does? Why do you want to bring them down? Richard told us to build, man. He said build. You want PulseChain to be better? Build. I was literally listening. I think I was listening more than most people were. He was telling us all this stuff. And by the way, it came up on the stream earlier. Like, I'm pretty sure when Richard seen even PP, the first thing that I was involved in, I'm sure when he seen that, he laughed. He has to. It's come from him. It's a meme of him. I'm sure when he seen Pulse Doge for the first time, he laughed. It's a meme of him.
Him and Eric Wall even did a Pulse Doge pose together in Stockholm, I think it was.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, exactly. Like, that was such a cool little nod, man. Like, they had the picture up on his phone because I thought you memed them, but they memed you. That's crazy, right?
It was actually Eric Wall who made that meme, and then he got Richard to pose for it, which is very funny.
But yeah, the fact that he did that, and then so when he seen PP or Pulse Doge, I'm sure he had at least a little laugh. But when he seen 9-inch, I bet he pissed himself, man. I know he's a busy guy and he's got a lot on his plate, but a DEX called 9-inch, like, oh my god, it's just the best. Like, you can't argue with that. Like, he definitely laughed at it. I've met Brent Morrissey as well. He's like his best friend, and he's like he was laughing about some of the shit we were up to. Like, he found it funny. So I'm pretty sure Richard finds what we're doing funny. I'm sure he's not worried about the competition at all. Like, he's got his attention. He's got his place, his shit where he needs to be, right? He's not bothered about any of that. So
No,
yeah,
no. If anything, the fact that we are here as 9inch, we kind of validate PulseX as the main DEX, right? Because when you have like all of these different versions around, like some are geared towards that, some specialize in this and that, then the more of this stuff you get, then the more people are going to look at PulseX as the main thing, because there always has to be like a Uniswap or a pancake swap, like one for each chain, right? So yeah, I think it's all positive. Plus, like all the bots going back and forth doing the DEX trafficking thing. I mean, liquidity, what do you call it? Yeah, I mean, the bots create a lot of volume thanks to us. And I've noticed that whenever like 9inch rises in the charts, which it hasn't done so much recently, but whenever it does and the volume picks up, then on DEX screener, we kind of push PulseChain up on the rankings whenever that happens. So it's kind of funny how we are very correlated to that. So I think, yeah, net positive, man.
Can I quickly say something as well? I would really like to popularize something that that MoneyGang Crypto came up with a few weeks back. Now, I think most people in here are very familiar with Metcalfe's law, and Richard Hart did a very good job of popularizing that. But there is actually something within Metcalfe's law called Reed's law, which is this idea of having not only the network effect, but a community within a community within a community. So you have 9inch, you have 9mm, you have all these different dexes, and you have all these meme coins, the Tangang and all the rest of it, going after their niche, tiny little crowds, which will grow themselves. But it just adds to the overall network effect, which makes PulseChain is the layer one, which makes PulseChain grow, and it just lifts. We have this rising tide lifts all ships idea, but it really does. And I really want to, with everybody in this room, is to popularize this idea, because Metcalfe's law has been, said many, many, many times, but I think it's Reed's law, building communities within communities, that's really gonna do it. So yeah, I just wanted to say that.
yeah, you're absolutely right, man. I mean, look at Ethereum, right? Ethereum is a great example of this. So Ethereum started, and without anything on it, Ethereum was just going to be a way to send money back and forth. But with all these people coming and building different things on it and attracting their own communities, like Hex is a great example of Reed's law within Ethereum, because I wasn't onboarded in via Ethereum. I was onboarded to Ethereum via Hex. So I found Richard Hart on Twitter. No, not on Twitter, on YouTube. And then I ended up getting into Hex and going and buying Ethereum so I could go buy Hex. And I had to figure out how to use the Ethereum network. And now I've done tons of stuff on Ethereum outside of Hex. And that's going to be the same story with PulseChain. Like, when we get cool projects coming into PulseChain that are attracting people, more people are then going to be involved with PulseChain. So yeah, it fucking works, man, 100%. Like, Richard probably onboarded more people to Ethereum than fucking anyone, other than maybe Vitalik. I can't think of anyone else that pushed it. And the thing is, Richard didn't even like Ethereum for a long time. He thought it was shit. He was a Bitcoin maxi. And then later on, he updated his worldview because he realized that the shit he wanted to build, it would be really difficult to not use something like Ethereum to build it. So yeah, anyway, completely agree. I think they are interested, but they're like, I just didn't want to hard sell them on it. You know what I mean? Because like, I'd rather work with them. I don't want to hamper that relationship by trying to sell them something they're not interested in. Now, they might come around one day. And if they do, then you're welcome, PulseChain community, because they've got a big community. You can pat me on the back later. You all owe me a beer if that ever happens, but it's not happening right now. And it's just because they don't trust it yet. But it's like I was talking earlier about the domino effect, right? So when you knock down the first domino, the next dominoes become easier and easier and easier. You can actually knock down bigger dominoes after. So like, let's say we got, I don't know, DBI in. Then you might get the Pepe guys next. Then you might get Shiba Inu next. Do you know what I mean? It is really easy to attract new people if you've got like some kind of proven track record. So it's much easier to go like that. But the thing is as well is that we haven't really got to onboard people right fucking now. It can be in a few weeks. It can be in a few months. It could even be next year or something like that. It doesn't really matter. As long as they come eventually. But when the bull market hits, I mean, I'm pretty confident that PulseChain is going to outperform Ethereum by like a considerable amount. But there are going to be coins within PulseChain that outperform PulseChain. It's just picking the right ones. And I think what we've got here has a good chance of doing it for sure. But the reason we chose to be on Ethereum as well is because we understand the potential on the Ethereum side is already there. The potential on PulseChain side right now isn't, and it's not a given that it will be. Now, I'm pretty confident it will be. I'm like 95% confident it will be a huge raging success. 4% confident it will do all right, and then 1% of me is like, it might not take off. But it's hardly anything really. It's probably going to do it.
I think you're not missing my point, but I just need to hammer this home in the fact that you don't have to hard sell this to the DBI guys because they'll see it eventually. You know, as you say, it's more like a soft short. Just mention it every now and again. Months down the line, they'll actually look at it and go, "Oh shit! Not only do I have coins over there, but the trading is like way cheaper." So yeah, I mean, you don't even really need to mention it again to the guys. I mean, they'll hear us talk about it anyway. But and I think that goes for any community that we approach. We're just going after DBI to start with. But yeah, after that, you don't even need to do the hard shell anymore. You just say use this DEX and that's it. You know, and then. We just start meeting people where they're at. I think is a really good idea. I think it was you that said that. So yeah, that's
100%. Actually, there was someone. I'm sorry to whoever suggested this to me. I can't remember your name. I've got that many people that have messaged me on Telegram, so I can't remember it. But there was one dude that messaged me, and he had this fucking amazing idea, but I just haven't spoke to the devs about it. I'd really love to implement this somehow in the future. But when you do a transaction on Ethereum, how amazing would it be for a little pop-up to come up saying you could have spent 0.01 pence or cents on this transaction if you use PulseChain, and give like an accurate real-time gas fee for what it would have cost on PulseChain to do it.
That's really good.
That would be such a good idea, man. That'd bring so many people over. They'd be like, "What? I've just paid like you said earlier. You paid 50 quid to harvest some farms or whatever. Like that's shit, right? Like who wants to pay $50 for a transaction? No, that's never okay. Like literally never okay. This was my problem when I was getting into Hex originally. It's like I wanted to buy $100 worth, and it would cost me $60 to do it, and then $20 to stake it. It's like almost not even possible, you know? So you'd have to wait for the gas fees to go down. And no one wants to wait for the gas fees to go down, man. That sucks, right? Like, you know, you got to get up at like, I don't know, 6 a.m. to get some good gas fees so you can do a transaction. At that point, the price might have gone against you. When you're there, you want to do it there and then. You don't even have to want to think about what the gas fees cost you. On PulseChain, I don't even look. I just hit confirm, and then that's it. I don't even care if it's 20 cents. I couldn't give a fuck. Whereas on Ethereum, even if I'm using a wallet that I've got like a decent amount of Ethereum on, I'm still looking at these things like, oh, $60. I don't know if I want to do this transaction anymore. You know, it puts you off. So yeah, having like a real-time gas updating thing on there would be pretty sexy, to be fair. So
yeah,
that's
it's like every token on Ethereum is a tax token. That's how it feels. 11% to get in, 11% to get out. That kind of bullshit.
Yeah, depending on how much money you're spending, for sure. But that's actually really funny. Every token on Ethereum is a gas token. That should be the new tagline for PulseChain. Do you like getting taxed?
Yeah.
I believe Hexicans, Pulsecans, and Cardano community, they have something common. Most of them are real people. And what I like about the Pulse community, and I stayed close with you guys, is that I see real people that want to do good in the world. And that's what I see also in the Cardano community. And that's one thing I really like about this community.